Guys, it is James and me.
And Theo. So today we were intending to do a little mini tour around the Cotswolds. Unfortunately, the weather, as you can see, is typically British today. And while it's very, very warm, it's actually incredibly warm, incredibly muggy. It's not great for filming what we wanted to do, which was a mini tours around the Cotswolds. That was going to be our first one. So we're not going to do that today. But we are going to do something else.
We are going to give you a tour guide of you, probably Americans most likely going to watch this.
Yep.
Of you drive on a different side of the road. And I also got to say, you may not actually see the weather because rain's not very good on camera, but if you look at the skies,
that's true. So yeah, as you're saying, it's mainly probably for the Americans of the audience, but if you're anywhere else abroad and you're coming to England, you're going to drive in England, I'm going to try and give you some hints and tips of what it's like driving over here. It can be a little bit daunting. It can be very, very different to what it's like driving in the States. So I just wanted to give you some hints and some tips and some advice, really, on a journey. We're actually off to my parents' house because I'm fixing my mum's Audi. So we thought we'd take, two birds, one stone, and you can join us on our way there. And as I say, we're going to give you some hints and some tips on how to have a safe journey in Blighty. So hope you enjoy it. Remember to
like and subscribe and hit the bell notifications.
And hopefully we'll see you, hopefully you'll carry on watching this one, but hopefully we'll see you on the next one as well. So let's, without further ado, let's go. Oh. Just get in and shut the door, shut the door. Right. One. Hi guys, so you're not really going to see very much of us today. You're just going to mainly see the journey we're taking and what we're doing. So without further ado, let's swap the camera around and you'll see what's going on. All right, so bear with us and we'll see you in a bit. So this is a typical English housing estate. Lots of houses in here. I don't know exactly how many actually, but there's quite a few. So as you can see here, there's lots of things that go to warn you as you go along. So in England, we tend to be relatively polite. We wave to say thank you when people are letting us past and what have you. So this bit here, as you can see, the road narrows at that point. So there's no priority. It's kind of basically first come, first served. Anyway, this is called a mini roundabout. It's a mini roundabout because it's relatively small.
And nobody ever uses it like a roundabout.
And as you can see, the roundabout in the middle is relatively mini. So the way the roundabouts work is you give way to the right. So if somebody's turning from your right, so if they're on your right-hand side, you give way to them. They have priority. So if somebody was coming from the left-hand lane, as you can see there, if they were parked there and we're coming out, we would have priority. And if it's coming towards us like that van is there, he's obviously indicating where he's going, then neither of us have priority. Basically, the first one who gets to the roundabout is the first one that goes. So yes, as Theo rightly points out, with mini roundabouts, there is a tendency, unfortunately, for some people to not use them strictly as a roundabout. So just keep aware, basically, of what people like. Now, this is a more typical roundabout, slightly bigger, but the same rules apply. Keeping very, very, keeping very, very aware of what the traffic's doing and what have you. So as you can see, we're coming up to some traffic lights here. So the left-hand line, we have a arrow that points left on the tarmac, and we have an arrow on the right-hand side lane which points straight forward and to the right, hence depicting which way you're allowed to go. So this lane is left turn only. The right-hand lane is either straight on or to turn right. We wait at the traffic lights until they turn green. Now, sometimes it will just be a green light and that means both lanes can go, but sometimes, as I think it will be in a minute, there will be a green arrow, which means that I can go, but the people next to me aren't allowed to until the full green is shown. As you can see on the road in front of us, there's a yellow cross-hatchings. That means do not enter. So if you're caught in a traffic jam, you have to stay out of those yellow hatchings. is to make sure that the traffic can flow as safe as possible, even in the event of traffic jams. So as you can see, the green arrow is gone, so we're off. Now, unfortunately, unlike America, America has this wonderful, wonderful rule. I really, really like it, which is you can turn right on red. Now, the equivalent over here would be turning left on red. I believe this was brought into America in the 50s, I believe it was. I may be wrong, somebody can correct me on it if they like. And this was to save fuel, so people weren't just sat in their cars, having the engines going without actually getting anywhere. Obviously, this also helps traffic flow really, really well. And so yeah, it's actually a really, really good system, but unfortunately we don't have that in the UK. So you have to remember, when driving in the UK, do not turn left on red, because Mr. Policeman will come and have a word. Sorry, yes, go on, Thea.
What do you mean by turn on red?
So in America, right, so if it was a red light, if you get to a junction and there's red lights, yeah, if it's a red light, the red light will be on. But if it's safe to do so, if you're allowed, if the traffic is clear and there's no risk of danger or anything like that, you're allowed to turn right and carry on going, even though it's a red light. Now, sometimes there will be a sign saying no turn on red or no right turn on red or something like that, which will mean, obviously, you can't do it on that scenario. So that could be to do with whether they think the road might have a blind corner, they might think it's a little bit dangerous, a little bit busier road, so they don't allow you to do it. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So anyway, this is a dual carriageway. Dual carriageways are normally 70 miles an hour, national speed limit. On this road, national speed limit would normally be 70 miles an hour. That's depicted by a white sign with a black outline and a black line through it. But as you can see, the traffic signs are saying 60. So we are keeping to 60 miles an hour, being very good boys, as we always are.
Yeah,
anyway, be quiet. We're not going to get Daddy in trouble.
I was going to say about the roundabout one as well.
Anyway, moving on swiftly. So, as you can see, we've got traffic lights here. So we do have quite a lot of traffic lights in the UK to help traffic flow and what have you. So again, the arrows are on the road showing what lane you need to be in if you're going to turn left or go straight on. You'll also notice to the lower left of the screen, there were some small white dots. Instead of the big long white lines in the middle of the road, there were some smaller lines. That just shows that it's where you can leave the carriageway. It's a broken line, which means that's where you're leaving the carriageway. And the same with the lines in the middle of the road. If they're dotted lines like this, or the longer lines, or slightly stumpier lines, shall we say, again, you are free to overtake if you so wish. The full line to the left is showing that's a muddy verge, basically. So just to be cautious, if you're going to come off the road there, it could be a bit slippy, it could be a bit muddy. So everything is about caution. Everything is about warning you of what the dangers are, what the dangers may be. So those are all what these sort of things are for. So those are the lines on the road. That's what they mean. You've got the traffic signs up on the side. Blue is motorways. Green is I think it's just more normal roads, I believe. But yes, the blues are motorways, I know that much. Now you can go online and have a look at the, it's called the Highway Code, UK Highway Code. And that will give you every single sign, symbol, whatever you may come across. So as you can see, we're following this rather cool VW towards the motorway, so we're sticking to the speed limit. Sometimes you'll have a different type of dual carriageway. So this is what I believe is called a broken dual carriageway. It basically means it's got these guide rails in the middle. It's got this greenery and these guides in the middle. That means normally, as I say, you could do 70 along here. If it's just 2 lanes with either nothing in between them or paint or what have you, then that would be either 50 or 60, depending on the road. Could even be 40. So here we go. We've got the big road sign up here. So this is telling you where we're going. So we're heading off towards the M5. I want to show you a little bit about motorway driving. So just slowing down steady. Now, what the Americans will be quite stunned about over here, to be honest with you, is we do tend to drive quite a bit quicker than the Americans, and we do tend to drive, unfortunately, we do tend to drive slightly more aggressive than the Americans as well. So just be warned of that. So nice and gently, I'm going to go into the second-hand lane. Oh, he's going that way as well. We go into the second-hand lane because we want to get in the correct lane for the M5. We're going M5 southbound. So get into the lane with nice.
A lot of M5 signs just up there saying M5, M5.
This is it. So you got, are we going M5 north or are we going M5 south? So those green signs we've just passed, they had 3 lines, then 2 lines, then 1 line. That's to show you how close the junction's coming up. I believe it's yards. I think it's 300 yards, 200 yards, and then 100 yards. It's either yards or feet, but I think it's yards that's measured in. So again, we're going to sit patiently, wait for the guy in the VW to wake up. There we go, any time today. So again, we're sticking in the correct lane, moseying over the bridge. Lots of writing on the road to let us know where we're going.
It even has, also, Americans, you may not have this.
Well, anybody, not just Americans, but yeah, go on.
You might, I don't think you have signs on the floor of your road.
I think they do. I think they might have like yield and give way and stuff like that.
Oh.
But I'm not sure they have as much. I drove in America a long time ago. It's been about 15 years since I've driven in the States. So I remember most of it, to be honest with you, and I'm very confident with driving in the States. However, it has been quite a long time. So it's difficult for me to remember exactly how long it's been, to be totally honest with you, and all of the differences between us. So here we go, we're going on to the M5. So again, we're indicating, giving people lots of knowledge, lots of time to hopefully move out our way or give us room so we can move on to the motorway.
I got to a bit. Sometimes when you're a bit worried about traffic, you do go a bit fast by accident on the motorway when you're trying to get in.
Yeah, sometimes you have to sort of put your foot down to squeeze in. Sometimes, unfortunately, not everybody is nice, kind, friendly. And they won't always let you in, unfortunately. So yeah, sometimes you have to push your way in a little bit.
And sometimes you accidentally go really too fast up the hill to try and get out of the lane.
Okay, shall we make this not dobbing daddy in for going too fast all the time?
I'm not saying it's you, so really you dob yourself in. I'm just saying sometimes other people do.
Okay, fair enough. Anyway, moving on swiftly before we keep talking about speeding. So on the left-hand side, we have something called the hard shoulder. Now this is where you would pull over if you break down, if there's a problem. You pull over there, and then every, I don't know, couple of 100 yards, there is a phone box, a phone booth where you can ring up for assistance, where somebody will come in with either a breakdown car or a breakdown truck, and they will come and either help you fix your car or move it off the motorway, and move you as well. They won't just leave you stranded. Also, what I'm going to do is I'm going to move over, and you'll hear the rumble. Here we go. Ready? There's the rumble of that's the hard shoulder. That's the big white line. That's to just make sure you know where you are on the road. So as you can see on the side of the road here, we've got the yellow, the brown sign there. That's a kind of like a tourist sign, if you like. And then you've got the big blue signs. Those are your destination signs. Those are your where you're traveling to signs, motorway signs. And then these great big signs, they light up on the gantries, which they can be anything from, weather warnings, traffic warnings, idiots walking in the road warnings. It can be absolutely anything. So if they're on, definitely look at them. Go on, Theo. Sorry, you're going to say something hopefully relevant to this and not just dobbing me in. Go on.
No. Also,
Yeah.
I think my dad told us, or I just have a really bad memory,
Yeah.
is that apparently if planes normally crash, they normally land on motorways to try and...
So in some areas, if you're driving near airports and stuff like that, sorry, let me just cut in for a second. So these stations, we're coming off at this exit, so you can see this blue sign here with 3 lines, then another sign with 2 lines, and then another sign with 1 line. That's to give you an idea that you are coming up to this junction very, very quickly. So we're going to come off at this junction, and then we're going to go onto the road and turn left. So again, we've got the small broken line here, and then we're going to keep on the left-hand lane because we are turning left. Yes, near some airports and what have you, they will have bridges at a longer distance between them, and they will remove or have very, very stumpy central reservation barriers and that is to help if a plane needs to land in an emergency. Very, very rare, but it can happen.
What happens if you do see a plane coming down? If
You get out of its way.
do you brake really fast or do you speed up?
It depends. It depends on what the situation is. If it's coming behind you, come on, Mr. Magpie, don't get run over. There you go. If it's coming behind you and you feel that you need to speed up out of his way, you speed up out of his way, or you brake. It depends on where you are, where it is, doesn't it? Really. So anyway, back to the driving and not trying to scare our dear visitors to our dear land that a plane might land on them. So again, you've got a green sign here. This is to show you the routes. We're going straight over. We've got services there, obviously.
And also Costa.
So you've got services there, obviously things like toilets and food and what have you. Well, those services actually are being rebuilt at the moment. So I would have thought they would have had a line out of those to say, nope, they're not working. But hey ho, there you go.
And just behind us, it literally had Costa. So
No.
Costa on the side and Costa on the back. Apart from it was very short distance.
Costa.
Costa.
That was Starbucks.
Oh.
But there is a Costa up here.
Yeah, it said Starbucks down there, and Starbucks are literally a yard away. Next. So really, you didn't need the sign, man. You didn't need it.
Well, it's just to help people out, isn't it? More information you give, the better. So we're in Gloucestershire, that's where we live, which is why we were going to do a tour around the Cotswolds, because it is beautiful. We're very, very lucky. And as I say, we will do some tours around the Cotswolds for you guys around the world, just to see what you think. And maybe it will give you the push you need to come and visit our fair land. But be warned, as I say, the driving is quick. The driving is tight. We're in quite a big car, to be fair, and which does make the road seem even more narrow. But also, as you can probably tell by the the movement of the camera, roads aren't great quality in England. I don't know what has to happen to get potholes filled in.
And how they even get started.
Well, they get started because what happens is they don't fill them in correctly. They just basically patch them. And what happens is because we get frost and ice, the water gets in underneath the patch. Okay, so you got a hole. The hole gets filled in. The water gets underneath that new filling, basically then freezes and pushes the new filling out.
Wow.
And it keeps happening. So you would assume that they would find a way to stop that from happening. But, never mind.
If I'm honest, a thick wooden bridge would do better.
No. Anyway, so as you can see on the road here, we've got these cross hatchings in the middle. So we do not enter. However, there's a gap there with an arrow for people to turn either right into the hotel or turn left into the housing estate. So it is pretty self-explanatory. Roundabouts, obviously, they are pointing in the arrows the direction that you are supposed to go around them. It is different driving on the other side of the road. It is very, very weird driving on the, to be honest with you, for you coming over here, the wrong side of the road, for us going over to you, the wrong side of the road. It is something you need to get used to. But also, please remember as well, it's something you need to remember when you get home. Most difficulties, accidents, and things happen. Once you get home, you get into your own car and you relax a little bit too much and you forget and you actually end up driving on the wrong side in your own country. So just please remember that. I have fallen foul of that a few times when driving abroad and coming home. And Theo's looking at me quite alarmed, but yes, I did. So again, we're coming up to another roundabout. As you can see, we're quite a big fan of roundabouts.
Yeah, that seems it.
In America, you tend to have big junctions, not roundabouts. I've mainly driven in Florida. So when I say America, I am being, I am kind of like sort of saying basically about one state. But I think it's very similar throughout. But yes, instead of having huge junctions, we do tend to just have roundabouts. So here we go, we're on a typical road, nice little BMW roadster there. So again, coming up to yet more traffic lights. So we're going to go in the right hand lane here because I don't fancy sticking behind all of these people. Here we go.
We hate slow traffic.
Yeah, I'm not the most patient of drivers, and this is something again you get used to in the UK. We do tend to go relatively quick. We don't tend to hang around too much. but we are also quite tight on our speeding laws and our speeding rules. So, you know, be very careful. Be warned. There will be police cars, camera vans sitting around trying to bother you for speeding. So, you know, try and keep within the speed limits, because unfortunately you will be caught, and there's not really much you can do to get out of it. To be totally honest.
Americans are actually quite sneaky. So I don't know if this is America, but sometimes they actually hide cars behind big signs.
Yeah, and yeah, this is it. You know, I think the Americans are allowed to hide their cars even more than we are. But yes, you're right. They hide behind signs or behind bridges or what have you, and we can do that to a degree over here, but not as much, to be honest with you.
So really, why are we telling you this? Because you're probably better at spotting than us.
Well, they probably are, but you know, it's nice to be nice and give them the warning, isn't it?
Yeah, makes sense.
So here we are, just driving on a nice sunny day. Now this, to be honest with you, this road is a 30-mile-an-hour limit road, and I can't understand why. It's a big, wide open road. It does seem daft, and that can be very frustrating sometimes when you're tootling along a nice big open road and you're like, well, come on, we could do at least a decent amount of turn of speed down here.
We could do 50.
But we can't, so there we go. So again, we've got some triangles onto the left there. That's warning us that there's a cycling route, and that is warning us that there are traffic lights coming up. So again, just keeping an eye on where we're going to yet another roundabout. Count how many roundabouts we have in this journey, guys, because wow.
Yeah, actually count them, but you may want to start from the start since you started,
Yes.
we just said. So maybe just start the video again if you want to count them all. Hey, look, another one!
So yep, another roundabout. So obviously we've got these orange cones out.
Oh,
blocking
very
us.
futuristic Ferrari.
Yeah, I don't know if I'm that keen on that, actually.
What?
I'm not that fan of that Ferrari. I like the Ferrari California.
I like that Ferrari, it looks futuristic.
So anyway, we're coming off the roundabout. Always indicate showing which lane you're leaving on the roundabout. It's just obviously the most you can, you know, make sure people are aware and know what's happening, the better. Oh, A&R Scaffolding. That's my uncle's company. If you need any scaffolding needs in Gloucestershire,
No, I'm sorry.
give A&R Scaffolding a call. Right, so we're going into the right-hand lane because we're taking the 1, 2, 3rd exit off the roundabout.
Oh, look, it's another millionth roundabout.
Exactly. If we've got a big enough bit of road, let's stick a roundabout in it.
Exactly.
So, giving way to the right, waiting for a gap. Got a nice gap. Off we go. Dooby-dooby-doo. Indicating to let everybody know where I'm going. Then changing my indication to let them know I'm coming off the roundabout now. Excellent. Oh, coming on, there's PC Plod coming our way in that little Volvo. So to the left you can see there's a little lane, a tiny little lane with dotted lines. That is a cycle lane. So we want to give people a reasonable amount of room on there. Now, coming up on the right hand side you will see a orange box underneath those trees, or orange yellow box. That is a speed camera. They will get you from taking a photo behind your vehicle, not in the front, but from behind your vehicle, and they will take your registration number and clobber you with a speeding ticket. So again, keep an eye on your speed, make sure you're not going to get done, because they will do.
Well, maybe you could use that side of a speed camera back there.
Well, there was a speed camera sign there.
Oh.
And there's another speed camera onto our left. So this one could get us if we were being naughty, but we're not. And you can see the little dashes in the middle of the road now. That's also telling you there's a speed camera. So they do, to be fair, give you lots and lots of warning for you to not get clobbered. But, you know, let's face it, we all still do. So this is, we're putting into now, this is the very historic, quaint village of Stroud. In Gloucestershire. Stroud's quite famous for its valleys, its hills, its countryside. It had a lot of mills in the sort of Victorian ages and what have you, canals and what have you. So it's a very, very cute little town, very folksy, very bit hippie, if you like. But it's a very, very quaint little village. So here we go, yet another roundabout. This is actually a twin mini roundabout, just to confuse you a bit more, but the rules apply. Take it nice and steady, nice and calm, and give way to the right. So again, we're driving along as per usual, just nice and steady. Okay, and warning signs in orange to say that there is a crossing coming up. Sorry, go on, Thea.
Had my bike fixed at Alfred's just over there.
Oh, did you? You went to this Halfords, did you?
Oh yeah, closest
Ah.
one if I'm honest. And probably fastest and best.
Right, so we're keeping on the right-hand lane because we're going to go right and then immediate left at this, another mini roundabout. So it's my right of way, so hopefully the van driver realises that. And then we're going to go left down here.
And what's quite good about the Halford space, apart from, do you know why we go there? Because when we bought the bike, we bought it there, and we got a year's or something like that, guarantee or something of checking their bike without paying any money.
Right, now
Okay,
can we get back to the actual road video
Oh yeah, sorry.
instead of advertising Halfords?
Sorry.
So, as you notice, this is getting quite narrow down here. So you'll notice on the road we've got a triangle. That is a giveaway triangle. And on the sign we have a red small arrow and a black large arrow. That means we do not have priority. The people coming towards us, if there were any, they have priority. And if it's the other way around, you're the bigger arrow, then you have priority. Also in the UK, if it's a narrow road, and say this car coming towards us, this blue car, now he's actually going to turn right, but he would have to yield to me. He would have to give way to me because I have priority over him. I have the right to carry on. He has to stop behind vehicles and let me come through. That's how it works over here. Now, obviously, if you're both coming towards some parked cars from opposite angles, as in the sense you're coming towards each other, you're both coming towards, and then it's kind of a first come, first serve basis. But, you know, it's nice to be nice. So just pull in, flash your lights. They'll know you're yielding to them, if you like, and they'll come along and hopefully they'll give you a nice wave and a nice smile to say thank you very much. Let's hope so. Not everybody does. Right, so we're going to turn left here. So you can see a big red thing on the floor there. That's again to say speed has changed. So keep an eye on it.
Mercedes.
Nice old Merc.
An old one, actually.
Now, speed's changed again to 20 miles an hour up this hill.
The bumpiest hill in the world! Well, at least paved one. Or at least bumpiest paved hill, I guess.
Yes.
Because it has been bumpier.
So we've just had a bit of a stormy weather today, so the weather's a bit weird. It's a bit cloudy, a bit damp. Lots of birds.
Why is there seagulls?
Why is there birds everywhere? I don't know where all of that lot's come from.
I'm all confused. Why are there seagulls?
Well, seagulls usually anywhere where they think food is, but we're nowhere near any sea, so I don't know what they're...
That's what I mean.
I think they're lost.
Yeah, I was about to say.
They're lost and confused.
You've got no rivers around here.
People out for a nice walk. So as you can see, this bit of the road, you've got no white lines on it or anything, so just keep to the left, just make sure everybody has enough room. Now, we've got to turn right here on a brow of a hill on a corner, so some delightful chaps parked in a silly location really. So just taking it steady. Now that sign there, the white one with the black line through it, that is the national speed limit sign. Now on average that means 60 on a single track road or 70 on a dual carriageway or motorway. That's normally what it means. However, it does not mean you have to do that speed. As you can see, we are going up a very, very narrow track. To do that speed up here would be a little bit daft. So just take it nice and steady. You know, we do have minimum speed laws, but not many of them, so you don't have to panic about them too much. Just don't go too slow, otherwise you can also be, you know, classed as impeding or endangering traffic. Other rules to keep in mind are we do have a light up time. So I believe it's around about 6 o'clock, and that's basically to make sure you have your headlights on. Obviously nowadays more cars have automatic lights, so you don't really need to worry about it too much. In America they have a great thing where if the idea is that if you are driving and your windscreen wipers are on, your lights are on also. That's something I stick to in this country. I think it's a great idea. So anyway, that's well, I'll tell you what, we'll swap the camera around, and then me and Theo will just have a quick chat to you. So anyway, hopefully that's helped you with some of the driving in the UK. I was going to say the States then. What we could do is we're actually going to go to the States next year. Can't wait.
Not next year.
It is next year.
I thought it was only a few days. I thought it was like just below a year.
No, it's Easter. Easter we go. Anyway, so we're off we're off to the States next year. And so we'll probably do a guide for Brits driving in the States as well. That'll be good fun. But anyway, I hope that's helped you, relaxed you. It's, I was driving, relatively calmly. Everybody was quite calm today. It's a Sunday, which tends to be calmer drivers on a Sunday. But yeah, as I say, go online, have a look at the highway code. That will help you with any worries that you may have. You can look at all the signs and see what needs to be done. See what the rules are, the regulations are, and what have you. That's it, really. I can't think of anything else. Can you think of anything else?
Yeah. I thought it was like under a year until you go to.
No, I just told. Well, it's next year, so it's under a year, as in we don't have to wait a year, but it's next year. Does that make sense?
No.
Okay, so a year ends at the end of December, start of January. So end of December, year ends. Start of January, year starts. Yeah. So next year is after January, and Easter's after January. Yeah. So that's what you mean by next year. But yes, you're right. It's less than a year to wait.
Oh, that's good then.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Right. So again, nothing to do with the driving video, but hey ho, there you go.
You said something to say. You didn't say anything about particular.
I kind of meant like relative to what we're doing.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
be more particular. Don't forget we are dyslexic, which we have.
That has nothing to do with it.
Anyway, in one of our previous videos, you can also study our dyslexia.
Yep, we do talk a little bit about our dyslexia. Anyway, as per usual, we are struggling to wrap up the video, which is a common theme on this channel. But anyway, thank you very much for tuning in to Experiences with My Father.
And don't forget to click up subscribe and hit the bell notifications, and we'll join you on the next one.
I couldn't have put it better myself.
James and Phil, out.